I'm Clever Ghoul, but you can call me Nikki. Welcome back to the channel. Once again, we're doing a Valentine's Day craft, which again, y'all know is not my favorite. However, I really wanted to try to do something from the Dollar Tree this week, something that you could make in less than 2 hours and that wouldn't cost you very much money. And I think I came up with the perfect thing. So this week we're making a faux floral heart-shaped wreath. Now this is super easy. Like I said, you can do this in under 2 hours and it should cost you under $10. The only reason I say under $10 and not give you a full price is because I spent around $9 total on the flowers and the base, but I had ribbon and hot glue at home, which you'll also need. So adding that in, it could be around $10 or $11. Still, it's pretty cheap craft and it's pretty good bang for your buck, all things considered. So with that being said, let's get into it. The first thing you're gonna need is this wire heart-shaped wreath frame. I used peonies for this project. You can use whatever flower you want, whatever speaks to you. A good way to test it out at the store is to kind of just hold them up around the wire frame to see if you have enough. I used 6 total, 4 of the main color that I used, which is this darker pink peony, and then 3 of the lighter yellowy pinky peony. And you're also going to need a glue gun and a ribbon. I had this ribbon on hand and I forgot to measure it before I used it, but I would say it was around 3 feet in length. You should be able to get a spool of ribbon at Dollar Tree, but you want to match the ribbon to the shade of the main floral color that you're using for this wreath. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the ribbon and starting at the very peak of the heart, put a little bit of hot glue down and then start to wrap it over and around the entire frame. I used just a little bit of glue as I was wrapping the ribbon around the frame just to keep everything in place. And I ended up having about an 8 or 9 inch tail of the ribbon left. And I left that hanging at the end because I knew I was going to use it to hang on the wall later. Now, if you have extra ribbon, you can probably just cut it and glue the final little tail piece there. But if not, that little extra length won't hurt anything. Now these flowers pull off really easily, so I just pulled off all the flowers I wanted to use and I started with the bigger flowers and in the main color. So for me, my main color was this hot pink color. So first I pulled off all the big flowers from those bunches and started to strategically place them around. Then I added in the secondary color, also starting with the larger flowers and just sticking them in to try and get a sense of fullness and sense of shape. You want to be careful here not to lose the heart shape, but also not leave too many gaps. It's kind of a balancing act. And I honestly think that this is the part of the project that is the most difficult, is just knowing where you want to place things. So basically what I would do here is take a larger flower, lightly place it where I thought I might want it to go. If it looked right, took some hot glue, surrounded it all over that base, and then stuck it on. I would hold it in place and then carefully flip over the wreath so that the flower was facing down on the table. This way the glue will attach to the wire frame or to the ribbon, but it also won't drip down through onto your table when you're doing this, which is really important. You don't want hot glue to get everywhere. I would continue this process of tentatively placing where I thought I wanted a flower to go, adding hot glue, flipping it around, maybe adding some more glue just to make sure things were really secure, letting it dry, flipping it back over, and repeating the process with all of the large flowers that I thought I wanted until it felt like it was time to add in some of the smaller flowers to fill in the gaps. I tried to mirror where I put the colors a little bit on either side, not too perfectly, but just enough so that visually it looks balanced and still draws your eye in without something looking unintentional. And then as the wreath started to get full, I would look around and see if there were any gaps. If there were, I would take some of the smaller flowers, fold them in half, and then wedge them into that space with hot glue to really get them to stick in. That way it helped with the fullness and any gaps, but without throwing off the balance of the wreath. I definitely was waiting to do that center part of the heart last. I was a little bit nervous about how to glue down the flowers there. What I ended up doing was taking one of the lighter, larger flowers and sticking it kind of in the lower middle part of that point, and then adding flowers in around it to balance it out, just as I had throughout the wreath. This is kind of an experimental process. I say play with it as you go. Just keep testing out where you want a flower to go before you put it down. Another good tip I have for this is if you're not sure about how it's looking, just hold it up against a blank wall and look at it around the edges and the inside and see if there's anything off balance visually. And if there is, either stick a flower there, or if it's a little full on one side and not the other, try and match it, but just play with it back and forth until you get the right balance that you desire.
Like I mentioned earlier, I left the remaining length of ribbon on my wreath so that I could use it to attach to the wall. To do this, I slipped the tail of the ribbon through the base of the wreath, making a loop. Then I brought the tail back around and tied it around the base of that loop before tucking the tiny remaining tail into the wreath and adding a drop of hot glue to secure the base of that loop. Now that that's all done, it's time for the reveal.
Here she is. I love how it turned out. This was so easy to make. Honestly, it was also kind of therapeutic, just going around placing and gluing flowers wherever I wanted them to go. Just a really fun and easy craft, and something that I would definitely do again. What kind of flowers would you use? Would you use roses? Would you use peonies like I did? Let me know in the comments below. I think you could do this with so many different fun flowers, and I would love to see all the variations that you come up with. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to check me out on TikTok and Instagram at cleverghoul.yt. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!